let's make a frog. Today we're going to make a frog. I picked green Play-Doh as an appropriate color. And we want to set aside a little bit of material for the limbs later on and use about half, maybe a little more than half of what's in the bucket there for the body. And the body of a frog, very interesting. They have kind of a fat belly, at least a lot of them in the imagery. There are many, many different kinds of frogs. They have kind of a pointy rear end. And they have a pretty big head with a nice wide mouth. So let's see if we can shape that part of the body of the frog with a nice big mouth so that they can catch a lot of flies and other insects, delicious, tasty critters. Here we go, let's go with this. Now frogs have eyes that are widely set apart, generally, on their head. And I think that's so that they can be underwater and have only their eyes sticking up. I could be wrong about that, but I picture them hovering just under the surface of the water, and they have eyes that they can see what's going on and yet remain comfortably hidden from a lot of creatures like birds. So we're going to make a base for the eyes, like so. And then they do have kind of bulgy eyes, frog eyes, right? So let's take a small piece of Play-Doh, round ball, flatten it a little, cut it in half, and add this to each eye. There we go. So they got some nice big buggy frog eyes. Okay, now let's see. We want some big hind legs and some much smaller front legs. So let's take what we have left, or what we put to the side, and roll out a little snake, and then bend a leg so that we have a thigh portion and what would be equivalent to the calf. And then they have nice, big, pretty flat, flipper-like hind feet. And the knees bend a lot. They have very, very tight bend in the knees. So let's see, we'll make one of those and kind of attach that to the side and make another one. Now here you see one of the problems with Play-Doh, and that's that it's structurally not terribly solid. If you're working with clay, I think what you make has a lot more rigidity and holds itself up better. But we're working with Play-Doh, so we got a lot of sag going on. So we're just going to work with that. You gotta respect your material. So here's a second leg, thigh, back leg. And let's kind of flatten out these flippers and spread them out in the front. And this guy's going to get attached to the other side in the rear. Okay. Now, attaching things is always problematic. It's easier if you can pinch up, but we can smooth it in with a knife a little bit. And leave that be for now. Now we want some front legs, and the frog's front legs are much shorter, smaller than the hind legs. And they have, let's take a snake, cut that in half, again shorter, and we're just going to make a little bendy shape for the front legs. Now the feet of a frog, a lot of them have wide toes with pads on the front. So we're going to do that by making a small snake, cut 3 segments, stick them together, and then push down to make that little pad in the front. Now this is rather delicate. And then attach that to the front leg piece. And do that again. Oh, I see my fingernails are very dirty. I've been working in the garden because it's that time of year. Apologies for my hygiene. Okay. Let's do the second front leg. And squish them down onto his toes. And then apply these to the front of the frog's body. Now, that's pretty good, but he's pretty likely to fall apart. So we're going to try a little trick, particularly with the back legs coming off. If I pick him up, the odds of him losing his legs are very high. That's not good. We don't want our frogs to fall apart. So take a toothpick. I have round toothpicks. You could probably do it with the flat ones too. I haven't tried those. Break it in half and just pin his legs into his body. There we go. And that'll hold them together a whole lot better. All right, my froggy friend. And if you want to add a little detail to the hind feet, the flippers, you can make 3 segments, 3 toes. And some of them have the suction cuppy things on the back too, and some frogs seem to have just long, skinny toes in the back. Whichever one you think looks better. However you want your frog to look. So we'll do that. Give him toes with a little bit of a front toe, and there you have it. Here we have our frog, complete with a cat hair. Let's take that out of there. Ribbit. Ribbit. Turn him so you can see him better.